Lawmakers have insisted for a reduction in borrowing and improved budgetary allocation for security and improved crude oil production, while on the other hand, they've also asked increased funding for road infrastructure, education, power, agriculture, among others. Tall order, I will say, without borrowing. Do you see this working out?
It's not a tall order. When President Goodluck Jonathan left, we are doing 2.1 million barrels of crude oil a day. And when the former administration came, it almost hit ground zero. We are sometimes doing less than a million. Today we are doing 1.3, 1.4. If we can get back to the $2 million that Jonathan's administration left, or even improve on it, we can have enough resources to do. And you know the beauty of it. Crude oil is still selling above $80 per barrel. So if you go back to 2 million barrels, you're almost doubling what you have. You have more money for sharing at the Federation account for the traders of government. And the CBN will have more dollars to help to defend the value of the Naira. So the Naira can even go back to around 400, 500. And you know oil is an asset that is going to be wasted in the near future. So many countries in the world have set a date when they can no longer use internal combustion engine. It has to be electric cars. The president is at COP28. What are we discussing? Climate change, reducing world temperature, renewable energy, reducing carbon emissions. So what I'm saying is that I had expected the administration, considering the fiscal challenges we have, to simply give a target of, say, 2.5 to 3 million barrels a day. They are giving three excuses in themselves as to why they cannot do it. They said oil theft, pipeline vandalization, and underinvestments across the years. Now, oil theft and pipeline vandalization, we can't be talking about that in this day and age. You have the army, you have the navy, you have the air force, you have the police, you have NISMASA, you have NCDC, you have task force, and there is even one other person who is not even in the armed forces, Tom Polo, giving a contract. How can you have this thing and you are still talking of oil theft? Naiti says we lost 16 trillion naira in a space of 3-4 years. Just do the maths. So what I'm saying is that the government can no longer be had to talk of oil theft. If you are talking of investment, NNPC is now a private company, quote and unquote. It can do an IPO, initial public offer. Alternatively, it can do securitization of assets to raise money so that we can say in the next 2 years we'll be hitting 3 million barrels a day. Saudi Arabia pumps between 9 and 12 million barrels. The US, the same thing. Iran, about 3.4, 3.5, about 4 million barrels a day. Why can't we aspire to use the resources God has given us to solve the problem? Because in 10 years' time, the oil may become useless. Nobody's going to ask after it. So giving excuses upon excuses doesn't hold water. All Nigerians and maybe the National Assembly say, do the needful. Dig out more oil. Sell it. Let's use it to invest and expand other sectors of the economy. That's simple.
We're looking at money, and we're still that the country is saying do not borrow. So that means that they have to look inward to see what
Yeah,
will
we
be
have to
done.
account for everything money that is coming in. I went into a restaurant, not a 5-star restaurant in Wuse 2 the other day. Okay, I just demanded the ordinary swallow and a local soup. And when I finished, they slapped me with 7.5% VAT. I looked at them, I say, yes, they say it's processed food. But I could literally swear that that money is nowhere getting to government coffers. Look at all the restaurants you go where they give if those money walk into a supermarket like Eban or any of the ShopRite, anything you do, they deal with 7.5%. And I'm saying that if all those money is getting in, Nigeria can make 50, 60 trillion. The money is not getting there. Every time you just transfer money to somebody, you are slapped with an electronic money transfer levy. And do you know what happens? Even before the bank gives you information that the money has been successfully transferred, the first thing they will do is to tell you that they've removed the money for electronic transfer. Okay? You work in a place where you issue contracts, you call in everybody, they take withholding tax. Where are all those money? Do you know the number of places in Nigeria, the bank transactions that happen every day? And at the end of the year, they tell you it's 100 billion. It's a joke. Because there's no way in every day. I'm saying the monies are not being accounted for. Okay. If they are properly accounted for, we will have much more, chasing up to 100 trillion. If the National Assembly is asking we reduce monies from other places, fund security funders, they should be the one to lead the way. There's no reason why National Assembly should even be increasing their budget. The budget is so much bloated up. Okay? They should lead by example. we had the other day about people at COP19, and there are all kinds of excuses. The president should lead by example and cut down on some of these frivolities. Recall that during the Obasanjo's days, there were toll gates at major expressways. Obasanjo woke up one morning and demolished them. Nothing says that if you put up a 10-lane speedway, highway, and I usually do it maybe from here to Lokoja, you do 2-3 hours, and I can do it in 1 hour 30 minutes, no hassles. I will be willing to pay if there's a toll gate and the road is good. But where people will resist you is that if the road is filled with potholes, after all the suffering, then you still come and charge a toll. So these things are simple, because if that political will is there and people at the helm of leadership see that they're serving the people and they also take advice, these things can easily be sorted out. They're not rocket science.
A lot is just going through my mind. I don't know actually where to start from. But let me ask you, this is not going to be a one-man show. It's not going to be a one-man's business. So if somebody is asking that such good intentions or good innovative that you're bringing are implemented, people are going to run it. What did they do with the money before it was demolished? That was probably some of the reasons why they slowed down.
You don't demolish those structures because the money was mismanaged. You simply introduce good management to the money. You simply introduce technology. Instead of allowing people to collect money, put in their pocket, at the end of the day, they begin counting. You can computerize it. That somebody in your office somewhere, as every vehicle moves across that toll gate, is reporting somewhere, is reporting there. So when 5,000 vehicles pass through that toll gate in a day, and those who are running will come and say, oh, God, oh, man, it's only 2,000. You laugh. You show them the data. So you can do these things. And leadership is critical. If one person at the top, if your guy here, let me give you a typical example. In my office, I don't tell staff, report by 8, and then I come there by 9. By 7:30, 7:45, I'm sitting on my desk. So you have no option but to come. And if you don't come, whether you write or not, I know who and who have been there. So everybody knows when to come, everybody knows when to go. Could you imagine a scenario when the president or the Senate president is driving a Nigerian-made or assembled car, innocent car or any of these vehicles, with a big plate, Nigeria 1? You know what? The little children who are impressionable will want to grow up to say, I want to drive that car. The president or the Senate president or this big man is driving. But if all the cars he sees you drive are Toyota, Ford cars, look at even the cars that were bought. You know what will have happened? The information available indicates that we bought about 10,000 cars in the last 6 months. For those in the houses of assembly, Senate, judiciary, councillors, everybody, executive, SAs.
These were not from this budget.
No. It's not from the federal. I'm saying across the 36 states. And none of them was a Nigerian-made car. They were all imported. And you are complaining about the value of the naira. So if, for instance, it was 200 billion and you kept it here and shared it among the assembling companies or car manufacturing companies, you know what will happen? They will demand more hands, so they will employ more Nigerians. Those employed will pay personal income tax. At the end of the year, they will make more profit, so their corporate income tax will increase. So it becomes a win-win, and then even the spare parts, you are going to source it from them. But when you carry that $200 billion and convert it naira and convert it to dollars and ship it out to Europe and America, and you are busy here complaining. So I'm saying everything is simple. If and only if people could come down from their arrogant high horses and begin to listen to the common men and women on the street, the heartbeat of the nation. So if we make this thing so complex, do you realize that the Americans and the Chinese have a rover craft in Mars, over 100 million miles from here? A craft is sitting in Mars, hovering around and reporting to human beings and computers on their capitals, in small rooms like this, and are monitoring. And then, if somebody can stay from here and send the craft to Mars, and the equipment is reporting, and you are getting it and using the information, and at the end of the day, that equipment will still come back to it. And you are saying you ordinarily manage small thing, and we are telling stories. For instance, insecurity is not about how much you throw at the problem. It's not about the trillions you throw at insecurity. We are here discussing state police, community policing. Even the current regime are part of the people who are saying that's the way to go. So throwing money at security is good, but as you are throwing it, you are doing some level of community and state policing, where the people who are doing it maybe legalizing things like Amoteku and Co. so that the locals who understand the scenario are doing the business. That's the policy angle. So if you throw 10 trillion to the police without these reforms, you're wasting time.
Let me
That
take a
money will
quick one
disappear.
as we go. Wrap up. The Senate President has asked that every ministry, parastatals, and agencies should make an appearance once it's their turn to defend their budget.
Perfectly, I agree. But a complementary reform would have been the Senate President have watched his convoy. His convoy is 15 SUVs before you talk of Hilux and Outriders. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Let him start by cutting it down to what makes sense. It doesn't make sense. Those people must appear, but let him cut down his convoy.
That might be the end of the conversation for today. And thank you so much, Mr. Ezonyekere, for your conversation with us and sharing perspectives this morning. I just wish it could be this easy to run and then get the results